Hi everyone, Mia here from Art Ninja HQ. We're on week 7 and it's May the 25th. So 7 weeks in, nearly 2 months open. So we've been quite busy. Very quiet on Tuesdays, which is today, and very quiet on Saturdays, which is weird, but anyway, never mind. Busy the other days. So that's great. So a wide variety of people coming in, which is really good. So I met some lovely people. So the theme last time I did a video, we were looking at cork mosaics, which I really enjoyed, and a lot of other people did too. I finished mine and it's on the wall, so I can't show you it right now, but lots of people really liked that, and I'll be doing it again, I think. So then we moved on to mixed media backgrounds. So just looking at creating that kind of like robust texture for a background for whatever you want to do, really. So it's just fun using all sorts of things like bubble wrap and those bags you get oranges in, and screwed up paper, and cutting up things and using them for printing, scraping it, and you know. So we did have fun doing that, a bit of collage on the background too. So this is one of the final pieces. That was a fabric collage on top of there, and this one was a pages from a book and magazine collage with a couple of buttons. But people do leave work behind here, which is fine. I love that. It's just must be just like served its purpose in the moment, and that's fine. So when I get a good collection of work, I will be doing an amazing display of all these different things. So if you have any lost work, you may see it again on the wall. So moving on from that was Pastel Week, which is not something I thought I'd say very often. So when I'm teaching, I tend to have some worksheet kind of things, which just gives you a little bit of blurb. I'm not too directive about how people use materials, but I do think it's really useful to understand what they can do and how to do it. So the worksheets are really ideas to get going with creating your own work. Obviously the Master of Pastel, Degas on there, and then these other pieces are obviously just from the internet, but I do credit the artists on here. So it's just to give people ideas where to start, and then from then on they can learn about how the material cooperates or not, or if they like it. One of the things I like to do with Chalky Pastels is to do some masking off. Now my background's in the print trade and graphic design, and then onto expressive art teaching and creative counselling. But one of the things I loved in my that part of my career was masking off, and it's kind of a concept that comes up a lot in printing and a lot in the art world, certainly when I'm doing it. So one of the things with Chalky Pastels that's fun to do is to create a mask. So that's a bit of paper that's cut like that. You can also use tape, you can use anything really, just to keep a bit clean, and then you can work the pastel over the edge like that. Reveal. It's amazing. It's a simple thing. You can do all sorts of different things with it. That was just a background created from that. So it's just a way to get people going, blending and smudging and just getting stuck in, and it's just something you can do without really thinking too hard, which is great. I also put oil pastels out at the same time as the Chalky Pastels, which I don't see why you need to separate them, but oil pastels I'd probably think would go more with crayons, but I just put them out. Let's have fun, let's just explore and see what we like. So oil pastels, slightly different way of working, but good to try. So there's lots of colour and vibrancy and texture that can be achieved with oil pastels. I do love an oil pastel, and when I'm teaching, I do like a technique sheet. So I do usually create these also which give you a few ideas of different ways of blending. You can scratch them, stipple, layered blending and things like that. I can also use these when I'm teaching to kind of point and say this is what I mean. So that's always useful. I do love a prop, have to say. So talking about pastels keeping me awake at night, I was lying in bed thinking stuff, and I started wondering about chalky pastels and all that mess they make on the table. What a waste of beautiful pigment. So I kind of thought, what would happen if you grated that into something? And I thought maybe PVA glue, which dries clear. So we tried that. I used one of those plastic reward cards just to scrape down the corner, and it worked really well, and it was so relaxing. I can't explain it. I don't know why. It was just really weird. And then swirled it around with a little cocktail stick or a pencil end or something. It was bizarre. Anyway, do try it. I know it sounds crazy, but it's really, you can get really fine detail as well. And this is just a little example. This is just in a plastic lid because I like to upcycle things. And that's the kind of nice. I enjoyed that. And so did lots of people. It's not just me being weird. And that led on to mixing acrylic paint and swirling it around in PVA. So I love when these things kind of like, you know, lead to others. And that was in an old Petri dish. And we're also finding that if we cut little tiny bits of gold thread, that would embed in there and create this kind of thing. It was just fun. When you're creating, it doesn't always have to be a thing or a finished piece or like massive artwork. It's just the process of having fun and exploring these things. So having done that with the Chalky Pastels, Ken was working on this piece as a cork mosaic. This is all cork. And he was, I don't know, I think he got a little bit stuck on what to do next, or he didn't quite like the way it was going. Anyway, he did the PVA with the chalk in these sections. How amazing does that look? And then he painted the cork black just today. So he's really proud of that, I think. But it came out cool. I really like it. I think he's quite surprised at himself. And then there was a felting workshop during the week. This is the kind of thing I teach on the felting workshop. So I start with wet felting. So we've got wet felt a background, needle felt into that background some sort of design or a picture or just random stuff like this. And then if you've got time, add a bit of embroidery. It's kind of like a two-dimensional piece, can be made into anything you want. That's just my sample, not finished, but you know, is art ever finished, as they say. So I added some more workshop dates on for that one. We did have a laugh. It was quite a late night. We were chatting and getting wet and hairy and felty and stabby, but it was great. So like I said, as Tuesdays and Saturdays are really quiet, I think that's going to be my workshop days. So I've added that again on a Saturday with a little bit longer time because we do like time for chatting. Also added in a liner cutting workshop, back to my print trade background. I do love printing, so that's added in. There's one coming up on the Thursday in half term in the morning, which is just a couple of hours, and then the next one's on a Saturday, so looking forward to that. And also added in a mosaic workshop. I do love mosaics. I really love to include things in mosaics that are not tiles. So things like found objects, so like broken crockery, keys, jewellery, obviously not your granny's like best brooch, but you know, that kind of thing, and building that sentimental kind of piece. It can be some amazing work can come from that, so I've added a couple of those in, so do give that a look. And then next week we're looking at watercolor pastels, pencils even, because they are a little bit tricky, but a lot of people really love them, and I'm not sure if they're really getting the most out of them. So I thought they're on the table this week. We're also going to be doing some stuff with egg cartons. We've got some troughs in here. There's a basket just there. That white basket has Oasis in, and there's a few other places that do too. And these egg boxes are going to be turned into flowers to burst out of these places, so that'll brighten the studio up, as if it doesn't need it, but that's a really nice thing to do too. And then the community jigsaw is still ongoing. It's just on the floor here, so as you can see, we've still got some bits to do, quite a few bits. Everybody's only allowed to do one piece, so they'll all be done by different people. So Alison, I think I've shown you Jane's mermaid. That's the crackle background. That is mine. Natty. Just everybody's done something so completely different, haven't they? I just told them a bit more of you. So when it's all together, it's just going to look amazing. A true look. Everybody's put a little piece of themselves into this artwork, and that's why I love a community artwork like that. So that's my update really. So got a few things coming up, a few projects on the go, which I can't really tell you too much about right now. I am still doing work at the Wish Tree. I'm applying for funding so I can keep going here. It's not as busy as I would like really, but it is early days. I have to keep reminding myself that. So I just hope everybody understands what I'm trying to do here with this, creating this space where people can just come and explore their creativity. I feel a bit guilty about charging, but I got to pay the rent, and you know, I've bought all this stuff and I have to keep replacing things, so I do have to make a little charge. But maybe if I get funding, that will help with that. So I would love to be able to keep going. I know it's only early days, but I am doing my best to do everything I can to ensure this place stays available for everybody. That's about it really. I try not to get too despondent when on my quiet days, and I just use them as best I can to do social media or create my worksheets or do some planning, that type of thing, catch up on emails. So keeping going. So thanks for listening. If you have any questions, do put them in the comment thing below, and I'm happy to help. Look forward to seeing you here. If anybody wants to come and have a look around before they commit to booking, that's always fine. The kettle's always on, so don't be sad. Come to Art Ninja HQ.